Just like the red carpet was a more glamorous affair back during the golden era of Hollywood, so too were the weddings. From Ingrid Bergman's beaded cap to Audrey Hepburn's pale pink mini dress, here's a look back at some of the most beautiful celebrity weddings of all time. Soon after Mexican actress Dolores Del Rio earned attention as a silent film star in Hollywood, she met Oscar-winning director Cedric Gibbons. After marrying in 1930, the couple moved into a now iconic Art Deco mansion in Los Angeles. They were together for 11 years before divorcing in 1941. After meeting on the set of Don't Bet on Love in 1933, Ginger Rogers and Lou Ayres married a year later in November 1934. The couple was married for 6 years but divorced in 1940. Swedish actress Ingrid Bergman wore a high-neck silk gown and a beaded cap with a veil when she married Swedish neurosurgeon Petter Lindström in 1937. Dominican actress Maria Montez wore a hooded lace veil over her wedding dress for her second marriage to French actor Jean-Pierre Auman in 1943. The couple welcomed their first child, Tina Auman, in 1946 and were married until Montez's sudden death in 1951. Bill Bojangles Robinson met Elaine Plains shortly after he divorced his second wife, Fanny Clay, in 1943. The famous tap dancer and actor married Plains in a simple ceremony a year later. The couple remained married until Robinson's death in 1949. When Humphrey Bogart fell in love with Lauren Bacall on the set of To Have and Have Not, he was 25 years older than his co-star, not to mention married at the time. Their affair blossomed into one of Hollywood's most legendary romances, and in 1945 the couple got married on the farm of Bogart's friend and Pulitzer Prize winner, Louis Bromfield, in Lucas, Ohio. The marriage of jazz musician Hazel Scott and U.S. Congressman Adam Clayton Powell Jr. was one of New York's biggest society weddings in 1945. After a church ceremony, which Scott wore a knee-length white lace dress to, the couple held a reception at the nightclub Café Society, which drew thousands of guests. The couple was married until 1960, but separated in 1957. Child star Shirley Temple married John Agar at the Wilshire Methodist Church in Los Angeles, California in 1945. The bride wore a silk gown with pearl detailing and hosted the reception at her Hollywood home. After working together in Meet Me in St. Louis, Judy Garland married film director Vincent Minnelli in 1945. The marriage was Garland's second and the couple had one child together, their daughter Liza Minnelli. Bette Davis wore a tweed suit and a wide-brimmed hat to marry her third husband, William Grant Sherry, during their California ceremony. Jackie Robinson wore a tailcoat tuxedo to marry his bride, Rachel Izam, at the Independent Church in Los Angeles in 1946. The bride herself looked stunning in a white satin illusion neck gown and tulle veil. The couple remained married until Robinson's death in 1972. For her fourth marriage to French actor Joe Billon, Josephine Baker stunned in a square-neck sheath dress and white feathered hat. They said, "I do," in the chapel on the grounds of her chateau, Les Millons, in 1947. The couple went on to adopt 12 children together and were married until 1961. When Princess Elizabeth married Philip Mountbatten in 1947, she had to save up coupons to buy her dress, as war rations were still in effect in the UK. That didn't stop the royal from looking stunning in an ivory silk and pearl gown. The couple was married in Westminster Abbey and have been married for 72 years now. Brazilian entertainer Carmen Miranda topped her simple white belted wedding dress with an elaborate lace and beaded headpiece for her wedding to film producer David Alfred Sebastian. The couple got married in 1947 in a small ceremony before honeymooning in San Francisco. They were married until Miranda's fatal heart attack in 1955. Jazz singer Nat King Cole helped his new wife, Maria Hawkins, cut the 5-tier wedding cake at their Harlem reception in 1948. The couple, dressed to the nines in a tailcoat tuxedo and an ivory off-the-shoulder satin ball gown, got married on March 28, 1948. Even though he had a reputation as a playboy, Prince Ali Khan set his sights on Hollywood actress Rita Hayworth shortly after her divorce to director Orson Welles. After being introduced while vacationing on the French Riviera, Hayworth and Ali Khan returned to France in 1949 and were married in a particularly lavish ceremony at the L'Horizon. Although the couple eloped and married in Connecticut in 1940, after a brief separation in 1944, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz decided to reaffirm their love with an official wedding ceremony in 1949 at Our Lady of the Valley Church in Canoga Park, California. Elizabeth Taylor's first wedding to Conrad Hilton was funded by MGM and coincided with the release of her film, Father of the Bride. The reception was held at Church of the Good Shepherd in Beverly Hills and attended by Hollywood stars. However, the marriage ended in divorce in 1952, unlike Taylor's successful film and its sequel, Father's Little Dividend. Actors Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh said, "I do," in an intimate ceremony in Greenwich, Connecticut in 1951. Here, the bride and groom are seen exchanging vows and rings as Janet Leigh wears a simple white suit and beaded cap. Singer Frank Sinatra divorced his first wife, Nancy Barbato, for actress Ava Gardner, and the two married soon after the proceedings were finalized in 1951. Even after Sinatra and Gardner divorced in 1957, which Gardner filed for, the actress referred to her third husband as the love of her life. Queen Soraya wore an elaborate feather, tulle, and crystal-embroidered ball gown designed by Christian Dior for her wedding to the Iranian monarch. The couple married in a traditional ceremony when Soraya was just 16 years old. The Shah repudiated her after 7 years of marriage, when she was unable to produce an heir for the throne. Brigitte Bardot had just made her big screen debut in Le Trou Normand, Crazy for Love, when she caught the eye of film director Roger Vadim. The couple married in December 1952 at the Church of Passy in France, just a few months after the actress turned 18. Elizabeth Taylor's second marriage was to British stage actor Michael Wilding. The two were wed in a low-key ceremony in London, and for the occasion Taylor chose a demure suit with a wide white collar. American singer Pearl Bailey gives fans a glimpse at her and jazz musician Louis Bellson's wedding bands as they prepared for their upcoming ceremony in London in 1952. Bailey and Belson got married only 4 days after they met and were together until Bailey's death in 1990. John F. Kennedy and Jacqueline Bouvier tied the knot in a September wedding in Newport, Rhode Island. The couple said, "I do," in St. Mary's Roman Catholic Church and held an elegant reception at the bride's family estate, Hammersmith Farm. Audrey Hepburn married her first husband, Mel Ferrer, in a secret wedding ceremony in Switzerland. The bride wore a high-neck tea-length dress with elbow-length gloves and a crown of roses in her hair for the occasion. Hepburn and Ferrer had one child together and were married until 1968. Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio surprised fans by eloping at the San Francisco courthouse in January 1954, after a whirlwind romance. The couple were surrounded by the press following their nuptials, as Monroe's studio had leaked the news. The couple ended up divorcing after 9 months of marriage, with Monroe citing mental cruelty for the cause of the breakup. Joan Crawford married PepsiCo CEO, Alfred Steele, in a Las Vegas ceremony in 1955. Steele was Crawford's fourth and final husband, and the couple had a happy marriage until Steele's unexpected death in 1959. After 15 months of dating, Eddie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds were married at the home of their friend Elaine Grossinger Ettis in the Catskills Mountains of New York. 1950s heartthrob, Rock Hudson, married the secretary of his agent, aspiring actress Phyllis Gates, in a small ceremony in Santa Barbara, California. The couple divorced 3 years later, and in 1985 he announced he was suffering from an AIDS-related illness and that he had lived most of his life as a closeted homosexual. Marilyn Monroe married her third husband, playwright Arthur Miller, in Westchester, New York in 1956. The couple officially tied the knot at the local courthouse and held a small reception at the home of Miller's agent, Kay Brown. Grace Kelly's wedding to Prince Rainier of Monaco was highly anticipated, marking her transition from Hollywood actress to royalty. The couple followed tradition with 2 ceremonies, a civil service, where Kelly wore a modest blush lace dress, and a religious ceremony, where she donned her iconic high-neck lace gown. Baseball Hall of Famer Willie Mays wed Marguerite Wendell in 1956 in Elkton, Maryland's historic Little Wedding Chapel. The couple announced their union to the press days later, where Mays showed off his new bride's wedding band. The couple was married for 5 years before separating in 1961. The Italian film star and her new husband, Carlo Ponti, are photographed at the train station in Los Angeles after announcing their secret elopement in Juarez, Mexico in September 1957. Marlon Brando's first wife was British Indian actress Anna Kashfa. The two eloped in 1957 and said, "I do," in Eagle Rock, California. They separated shortly after welcoming their son, Christian Devi Brando, in 1958, which spurred a bitter custody battle between the exes. Natalie Wood wore a unique hooded lace headpiece for her 1957 nuptials to Robert Wagner in Scottsdale, Arizona. The couple was married for 4 years before divorcing, but eventually remarried in 1972. Actress Jane Mansfield and Mr. Universe Mickey Hargitay got married in a press-filled ceremony in Palos Verdes, California in 1958. Rat Pack crooner Sammy Davis Jr. married his first wife, actress Lorraine White, on January 10, 1958 at the Sands Hotel in Las Vegas. The actress wore a white-collared Align dress with tulle ribbon in her hair. They were joined by famous friends, such as Jerry Lewis and Harry Belafonte. Their marriage lasted less than 1 year and they divorced in 1959. Up-and-coming actress Julie Andrews married set designer Tony Walton in a traditional ceremony at St. Mary Oatlands Church in Weybridge, Surrey on May 10, 1959. Dorothy Dandridge and Las Vegas restaurateur Jack Dennison got married on June 22, 1959 at the Greek Orthodox Cathedral of St. Sophia in Los Angeles. The famous actress wore a chiffon and lace Align shirt dress and carried a bouquet of delicate white flowers on the big day. Brigitte Bardot and her Babette Goes to War co-star, Jacques Charrier, were married in a registry office in Louveciennes, France. The bride wore a simple, yet chic, pink gingham shirt dress for the ceremony. Wearing a bespoke chiffon and satin-trimmed shirt dress, Eartha Kitt married William MacDonald in 1960 in an at-home home ceremony and reception. The singer and businessman were married for 4 years and welcomed their daughter, Kit MacDonald, in 1961. Another royal wedding rolled around in 1960, when Princess Margaret joined Anthony Armstrong Jones at the altar in Westminster Abbey. The Queen's younger sister wore the Poltimore tiara with a cathedral-length veil and a silk organza gown. On their wedding day, her husband earned the title of the first Earl of Snowdon. Sammy Davis Jr. met Swedish actress, May Britt, shortly after his divorce from his first wife. Their interracial relationship caused controversy at the time, but the couple tied the knot in 1960 anyway. Britt wore a high-neck patterned silk wedding gown and a veiled tiara. The couple were married for 8 years and had 3 children together. Ginger Rogers married her 5th and final husband, William Marshall, in 1961. The bride wore a wide-collared jacket with a net fascinator. When Lucille Ball married her second husband, comedian Gary Morton, at Marble Collegiate Church in New York City, fans lined the streets and cheered, "I love Lucy." However big the crowd of well-wishers was outside of the church, only a small group of 40 friends and family members attended the ceremony. Chinese-American actress Nancy Kwan married Austrian skier Peter Pock at the Paddington Registry Office in London in 1962. The actress wore a shantung silk wedding gown with a lace bodice and matching bolero jacket. They were married for 6 years and had 1 son together. After garnering plenty of media attention for their brazen affair while filming Cleopatra in Rome, Elizabeth Taylor married Richard Burton in a yellow chiffon dress and flower-adorned braid at the Ritz-Carlton in Montreal. Judy Garland married her second husband, Mark Herron, in a small ceremony that took place at 1:30 a.m. in a Las Vegas chapel. A reception was then held at the Sahara Hotel. Frank Sinatra shocked fans when he wed up-and-coming actress Mia Farrow in 1966. The singer, who had been married twice before, married the 21-year-old actress at the Las Vegas home of his friend, Jack Intrater. Although the pair divorced in 1967, they remained friends until his death. Jane Fonda eloped in a French courthouse in Saint-Ouen-Marchevoix, a town in northern France that the couple later owned a small farmhouse in. Fonda and Vadim also had a small ceremony in Las Vegas, Nevada. The king of rock and roll married his longtime girlfriend, Priscilla Ann Beaulieu, in a small and private ceremony in a Las Vegas chapel. Sharon Tate met Roman Polanski on the set of The Fearless Vampire Killers. She was the lead actress, he was the director, and in 1968 they got married at a registrar's office in London, with a reception at the Playboy Club afterward. For her second marriage to Italian psychiatrist, Andrea Dotti, Hepburn wore a pale pink mini dress and matching headscarf at a town hall in Switzerland. After Lennon's divorce was finalized in 1969, Yoko Ono and John Lennon planned to marry on the cross-channel ferry between England and Paris. But because the bride wasn't a British citizen, they weren't allowed to. Instead, they traveled to Gibraltar and were wed in a civil ceremony at the British Registrar Office. Bianca Jagger wore a chic blazer and hat with a veil for her intimate wedding ceremony to Rolling Stones singer Mick Jagger in Saint-Tropez City Hall. Aretha Franklin rocked an understated white beaded V-neck dress and no veil for her second wedding in 1978. The Queen of Soul married Glynn Turman at her father's church, the New Bethel Baptist Church in Detroit, Michigan. They were married for 8 years before divorcing in 1986. In one of the most famous royal weddings of all time, Lady Diana Spencer married Prince Charles in St. Paul's Cathedral in 1981. The couple held a reception at Buckingham Palace afterward, where they shared their famous balcony kiss. Diana Ross married for the second time to Norwegian shipping heir Arne Næss in 1986. Dressed in an elegant silk and lace column gown, Ross and her new husband were photographed leaving Romain Motier, Switzerland's oldest church, after the ceremony. Diahann Carroll was married 3 times, engaged 4, before tying the knot to singer Vic Damone in 1987. The actress wore a skirt suit made in an ivory satin fabric for the ceremony at the Golden Nugget Casino in Atlantic City. They were married until 1996.